What's up, everybody? Another edition here of Bushwhacking Tartaria with Berserker Bear. I know I said I was going to do the Richardson complex next for Halloween, but Halloween's in a couple days and I just got too much stuff to do, so might as well do it. So let's get some Bushwhacking Tartaria boots on the ground for you with some old maps of Buffalo. You see where we're at here? And we'll get you a copyright date and we'll go through this map, and what we're going to do is go through some areas that are around the place where I live that I think are pretty interesting. Again, dovetailing off of what I said last video, how the 190 was once a canal. And I found some more interesting anomalous stuff that I could research. And I went to a building that I found quite interesting in looking through the area where I'm from, effectively northern Buffalo, Riverside area, Squaw Island, the International Bridge area, and this section over here. That's where we're going to be looking at, and that's where I get some up-close footage for you. And let's show you where that is actually on the map where we are. You see how it's kind of similar? Okay. So that's where we are. This is greater Buffalo area. Right of screen is south, left of screen is north, top screen east. Delaware Park for your reference, Squaw Island, or excuse me, Unity Island. This whole patch right here is very interesting. So after doing some further work, I are looking at these maps and trying to orient, because these are panoramic maps and it's kind of hard to get angles. Now here's Squaw. So here's the deal. This is all canal. See the 190? See my cursor moving? This was all canal. Picture all this canal. And then this was an island, and the canal ran along through here. And it looks like it was quite narrow, because as I go through this, okay, that's what I'm talking about. There goes the International Bridge. And here goes that 190. Now this is all, it looks a little different, but effectively that's what it is. They flooded stuff and dried some stuff. We'll call they city planners. So the city planners effectively took that canal and turned it into 190. And I established that last video. Now with that, it's, piques my interest as far as these maps go and looking at the stuff that's near where I live. And I search in and out of this stuff, and keeping in mind this is a canal and getting your reference with Riverside Park here. This is Riverside Park here. The end of it. See how it's nice and straight there, but in the real map it's different. Look at, this is the end of Riverside Park here. Keep in mind it's on a map, and then you have Ontario Street here for reference, because we're going to be getting into some stuff right down in this area. But just look at the angles of the street, which is confusing to me. See how Ontario Street in the Google Earth is really angled over here? I'm trying to get the same shot for you, is what I'm saying, so we can easier reference stuff and reference the fact that right in this area right here was a canal. This is all canal. So while I'm looking down through here, and I notice that there's now, this is literally 30 seconds from my house. I can drive here. And I did, because this used to be on the canal, so I want to get down there and see what's going on and see what kind of characteristics I can see. Also, I'm trying to find these red brick buildings that have evidence that look like they have been flooded or maybe sank. Okay, I don't think they were sank, but I'm trying to distinguish here between between the red brick and the real heavy churches, because if the red brick buildings, and I referred to them as shells earlier because they effectively are shells of buildings, and they're nowhere near as heavy as you would think the churches would be. It's a completely understandable assessment, though, that the heavy churches sank. But if you can find the same characteristic on the red brick shell type light buildings, well then, in my opinion, it blows the sinking narrative out of the water. Because why are the red brick lighter buildings having the same type of features of mud flood? That's my whole thing. So let's get some boots on the ground. This is where I am. We're gonna go right here. Okay, this is the area that we're looking at on the old map, effectively 190. Okay, this would be that island. This portion right here, it almost looks like the shape. See, see how they do that? As I'm looking at it now, it looks like the shape of Squaw, or those islands that Michelle Gibson goes over, and the Sioux Dam and all that, like the man-made rivers and everything. So then when you see something like this, you can begin to see how they do that. Because look, this was, now a canal you think is obviously a canal is man-made. So they pretty much geoengineered this island. Okay. Geoengineering, same thing as terraforming. Okay, now, yeah, this isn't, so right here, you know, I fish down here. There's docks down here. There's Harry's Harbor Place down here, a restaurant. Interesting buildings that I'd like to get at, though, are these ones, and I've been on top of these before. Not on top. When I say on top, I've been right next to them before. I didn't make a video of it. I was just doing pictures at the time. These are old world industry, repurposed to industry, old world Tartarian buildings, we think also. And these buildings, these are red brick shell buildings. This is not a church type Tartarian building. This is a red brick type Tartarian building. And this is a red brick Tartarian building that has evidence of mud flood. And I'll get you pictures of this one too. Maybe I'll do this one also. This is not what I was going to be doing boots on the ground about, getting up and close with you. But again, I'm telling you that I've been there, and like this is like the top of a doorway, and it's like 2 feet off of the ground. Effectively, it has mud flood evidence or terraforming evidence. Okay, so we have to have discernment there when we're saying that, you know, the mud flood is just building sinking. No. Because this building is probably not as heavy as, for example, the Philadelphia City Hall that has 17-foot thick stone walls. I can understand that sinking. But if these buildings have the same characteristics and are not anywhere near as heavy as I would presume, then that is not, it has to hold true across all examples. And in this case, red bricks having the same characteristic, that's what I'll say about that. You can even see right here, look, yeah, this looks mud flooded to me. I've been in here for the parking lot. There's a parking lot you can get into right here, this parking lot. I've been into that one. I mean, I could definitely get to this place, but it's private property, obviously. It's for boats and everything. And look at this arch right here. You can see how that looks like it goes underground a little bit, and I don't think it's because it sank. It would either be because of an inundation of mud flood or a terraforming effort like we discussed in the last video. So let's tell you what I'm getting into here. I was interested because this building, I believe this building, in my opinion, okay, let's get back to where we were. Riverside High School. Check this out. This field right here is this field right here. So where Riverside High School is right now was all a field, and it had looks like a little creek running through it. Okay, and then there are these little ponds here. And what really caught my eye, and what I'm really getting at here, is what they're literally labeling this building as right here. Okay, Cataract, power, conduct. And I don't know what that, does that say CD? I couldn't find it over here. Legend. That would be a keyword to search. However, that's for literature research. I like to get the physical nature of how these things look now. An excellent idea, Mr. Brees, to use these maps and reference it against what we have now and then go there. Because that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so you know where I'm at. I think that what we're looking at here in this old map here in Buffalo, think about it. This is Coalition Street in Fuller. Now, keeping in mind that these are panoramic on angles, and you know you're looking at it. I mean, look at it. This is panoramic from out, looking up the whole city. This is huge. So we're not getting the right angles. Okay. That's what I've come to tell myself. We're not getting the right angles. Now, you got Coalition Street here for reference. Yeah, look at the angles in the streets and how they... And that looks kind of true, actually. But not when you match it up with what I discussed about Riverside Park earlier. Anyway, it's hard for me to try to find certain buildings because it's like... I do believe, or maybe this was part of the complex and maybe there was more buildings here. Probably maybe there was more buildings here. But what I'm saying is cataract, power, conduct. I believe this building is actually this building. Because I get up on it for you. And I see, in this one it looks like there's another little thing off of it. And there does look to be an old building there. So... Now, what's interesting, it says cataract. Now, cataract is effectively a rapids. You know, by definition, Niagara Falls is a cataract. Water going over a steep incline, causing it to, you know, white water. So, they're saying this is a power conduct. And was it coming from this stream that I identified through that Riverside High School field right here? Okay, this patch of green is interesting too. I would like to get here. It kind of reminds me of layout of the Karnak stones in France. Just a quick glance. I believe that that building is here. That's what I think. And so there were some kind of cataracts here. Again, this is lending credence to the whole geoengineering and how they completely would make rivers and islands. I referenced this Sioux Dam videos from Michelle Gibson there. She gets heavy into that research, and it's extremely interesting, and how these islands, these pickle-shaped islands, if you will, not to be confused with pickle parks truckers. But yeah, they're pickle-shaped islands, okay? And what I'm doing, I think, here is lending credence to the fact that, yes, I'm providing evidence that they most definitely were geoengineered as such and made, and look at, they made a canal, literally a highway. And then they mound it up, because I think that they're probably burying, one commenter said that they're actually burying railways, and I think the railways were actually old canals too. So there's a lot of going back and forth, and look at, you have to have retaining walls. Look at the mound up here, the highway. I believe literally that's why they call it the highway, because it's higher than the regular area. Is it terraforming? Is it mud flood? I think that's more the focus than trying to figure out whether or not these buildings were sinking. I don't really know. That's kind of what I'm on the hunt for. I think it's a mixture of both. But I don't think these buildings were sinking. And I don't think it's liquefaction. Look up videos on liquefaction. It's absolutely terrifying. Okay, so, yeah, what's going on here? It says in the old map that there's... Let's get you a full screen and orient. Literally saying that there's something coming. Looks like this creek comes, where does that go? So I'm following this creek all the way down. It doesn't seem to follow a natural path, because in geography they say that they snake and they create the oxbow lakes. So that, you know, at face value, without doing any research whatsoever into it, clearly there's not even any reference to it now. There's a school there, Riverside Park High School, or Riverside High School. It lends credence to these things possibly being made. And then when you see at the very end of it where it releases in, this reminds me kind of Mills in the Falls. What's going on here? And it, you know, of course, where it says cataract. So I you know, I really don't know, because now it's all dry land. It's all terra firma in that area. It's literally it's all dry land now. And you know, there's anything that would be construed as a cataract is completely gone over. Now, if you're commissioned to do a map like this, you know, you're going to be taking into account that they could be censored after the fact, or there's always a final say, and that's something I have to get into as well. As far as the Pan American Express and the fairgrounds and everything. But to be honest with you, actually, the Albright Knox buildings that I've done before are here in Delaware Park. Let me show you that. There you go. There goes the New York Historical Building and the Albright Knox Art Building. And the Pan American Express would have been around here in this area, so it's not there now, and it's 1902, and this map is from 1902, as we've established. So where is it? I mean, are these, I guess what I'm kind of hinting at in the underlying tone here is that there was deep fake capabilities back in this time period, ladies and gentlemen. They were overexposing things. I think that you all remember seeing Old West, or you may remember seeing Old West pictures of a gentleman holding his head. They could do that back then, and you know, I understand that these are commissioned works to have the proper layout of cities, but then there's always a final say. I'll leave that at that. As far as not all of these maps can be perfectly true, although we're using our discretion, of course, across everything. But you know, I see these maps, and the fact that it's right in my area, I want to get to these places, and I do, and I did. So let's get you some boots on the ground here. I like when I do this. Let's see if this works this time. Here we go. Boom. Now I just walk. This is one of my walk-arounds, and I'll narrate as I go over it. And I don't really talk at all on this, so I'll mute that. But yeah, look at this. So there's a bunch of different facets to this building. You know, obviously old industry. You got you do have old foundation. I get to that also. It definitely looks like old foundation, or what I mean, substructure. I know you guys, some architects know that is substructure. There you go. But obviously the cinder blocks are new. There's some patching going on, but this is old. Clearly, it's in the 1902 map. And like I said, the other building that looked like it was attached to it, I really don't know. There was something over there. I'll show it to you. You could see I-beams coming through. Now that's gutter. The back half of it has that flashing, and the commenter said that was for roofs actually, so almost like it was repurposed, and that'd be a great idea to hide it. Now that I think about it and I'm talking about it, one commenter said that these the flashings that I mentioned a couple times, that I think these things were used to cover over the build out that I discussed, and how it's more ornate on the outside and how it lips out a little bit. If you knock it off and it's just open and exposed, you're going to have to cap it with something, and I think that these were what they used to do that. It seems to be a common feature. And again, that would say that there's a whole industry for that, but not effectively if it was repurposed. Sorry, just squaring up the phone. Yeah, so you know, if it was repurposed from using it like the commenter said, and if they were, because they have ribs on the top of them, they like what he was explaining, I think, and I don't even know if I replied to it. I will. I'll get to it. I like to get to all my comments. Again, thank you very much for everybody who supports, and all your comments are amazing. I really appreciate your positive feedback. It's really special, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, one commenter said that that stuff looks like it was used on roofs, but those things are really heavy. I don't know, because of the peak. There was like a peak going through them. Look at that. So yeah, I mean, I could pretty much in situ. There goes red brick in situ. there's you know, there's millions of them in this city. So maybe a scientist would say that there's more red bricks than there are grains of sand on the planet. So yeah, there was an interesting feature right here too. When I got down to the ground, it was the ground was orange, and I'm like, what is that? Is that like terracotta on the ground? And it was actually, see how it rubs away? It was actually dirt. So what it was probably just the runoff or the dust of it just accumulating there. But it looked almost like the same color as the red brick, but it was like flat. And I'm like, is that, like, what is that, a board or what is that? So when I went and touched it, it was just dirt. Old and the new. See, this is what I'm saying about there was other attachments here. And look at the old build out, old crest above the doorway. It's a Tartarian red brick feature. Oh, I didn't even look at this video. I actually get through here. I don't even know if I got a good shot on this footage. What I do, I kind of shimmy my way into that narrow little. Well, you'll see. Look at this too. Like there's like a lot of patching going on here. A lot of patching after the fact. You know, this looks newer to me. Obviously, this looks older. It's really cool to get there and get right up next to it. It's, you know, for me, it's invaluable. I love doing it. Nursing half of a cold here. Oh my goodness, how dare I say that? But yep, it's getting a little bit colder here in Buffalo. So, it got narrower and narrower. But I got to get that shot, right? I just stuck my arm out. That actually looks newer. I don't know, though. Red brick for sure. Different patterning, too. So that must be behind that newer building. It is. Okay. I didn't look at this video before. I threw it up. I just shoot from the hip here, guys. So I do the best. So, well, let's get you this one too. This is more the front and the other side. So yeah, look at this. Oh, you know what? I should have took a picture of that one better. Look at that up there. This one, keep up here. It looks like an old world building that was repurposed for industry. Another characteristic of what we say, whoever did this, how they did it, or at least what they did. Definitely don't know how they did it, but we're trying to work that out. So yeah, so this is definitely newer. That's older, and I wanted to show that. So you could tell the difference between the newer, probably modernized style of the brick. And that's actually a good thing to look up too, is the newer and the older. Actually, a friend of mine said that you should test these red bricks that you have. And as a matter of fact, if anybody's interested in that sound, this is the red brick that I found on one of my escapades. So yeah, I could test these, you know, and see maybe if there's any kind of. Obviously, you can't carbon date it. Okay, yeah, there. Look at that. Look at the old. I have to lean on some architects here. Is that substructure, or is that the basement thing? Is that normal under a red brick building? You know, I don't necessarily see a lot of foundations under the red brick buildings. It's usually the churches that you see that. Usually the red brick goes right to the ground, and it actually looks like it's sunken. You know, what do you guys think? And look at the damage here. This is on the back side of where the water would be. So I was going to say, is that water damage, or is that just? Well, I mean, look at that. What is that? What causes like that? Almost looks chemical. Something happened there. I mean, it almost looks like a chemical burn. And look at how it's different, you know, different style. You have the long, and then sometimes you have the buds, the short ones here. Like what's going on there? You know, and then there goes the other foundation. Or the older foundation, maybe. Or is that a petrified tree that was used for blocks? I don't know. I don't know. And I certainly would like your guys' help. Let's go through these pictures. So yeah, look at, you know, old industry. And then they put the newer cinder blocks in there. And there goes those little those, maybe I'll call them flashings, I guess. Is that a good word to use? This might be settling, cracking. Look at the old window. That's what I'm talking about. If you're using it just for industry, you know, you're just doing it for form and function. That's it, not for ornate and pretty. So clearly that, I think that tells that these were once for one thing and then used for something else. And for power, like, because I really think that this building that I'm looking at is or was in around this area, this right here. Now that would tell me that this was literally used for power generation. Wow. If you guys caught that synchronicity, I think, wow, I think that they were used for power generation. It says cataracts. I know what they were doing with water back in the day. I don't know if you could see up here on the top right. Actually, I take a picture of the top right. It kind of looks a little pitty too. Yeah, right there. See? This looks like transition also from new to old, and who knows? I know that they recycled these red bricks and everything. There goes a better shot for you. There goes that Riverside High School for you, for your orientation, directional wise. Yeah, and there goes the I-beams coming through. That could have supported another building, and that could have been this little piece right here. Okay, I-beams. Yeah, this looks like it was the other building here. So yeah, you know what? I can probably say, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that yeah, it probably is this building right here. And that would tell me that. So the front side, okay, If it is, which I think it is, this building, look at this flat, you know, that's water. Follow it back. Follow it back to the Black Rock Canal. Black Rock Harbor. That's water. Okay. So what that tells me is this was water. This was water. This was the canal. And it was probably thinner, so that gives you the island right here then too. Okay, it was probably as thin as, you know, maybe one section, maybe two sections, so then you have this whole land to be the island as it comes across up here and goes to Riverside Park and probably out to the Tonawandas. There's Riverside Park. And again, the map stops at the city limit. Okay, this is Riverside Park. That's the most northern part of Buffalo. It stops at the city limit. Now, here's the deal. Buffalo, Tonawanda, actually. Yeah, Buffalo, Tonawanda. Vulcan is the most northern street in Buffalo. Okay. Buffalo, Tonawanda, and that's why the map stops right there. This is the city limit. And I'm sure that went off to Tonawanda also. And there's a lot of canals up in Tonawanda too, big time. It's actually part of the Erie Canal because these ships would come down the canal right here. They actually go to this. They go down the river in this crazy current. There's buoys all around here, and they make their way up to the city of Tonawanda in these canals all up in here. And oh look, another pickle-shaped island. I just literally noticed that now. It almost reminds me of the pickle park. When I say truckers and everything, truckers know about the pickle parks. My father was from Bird's Eye View. If you guys don't know, it's actually a double entendre. I'm not going to get into it. Why else they call them pickle parks, but it's a double entendre because they also look like pickles from a bird's eye view. Now, that lends credence to them being terraformed because they certainly make those trucker drive-offs. So there you go. Yeah, the water comes, the boats come up the river and they go up to city of Tonawanda. Now, let's get back to the boots on the ground because I'm kind of running out of time here. But look at that. So yeah, the other side of this thing was water, and lends credence, and it supports a video that I had about ley lines, about one of my old videos that posits that underneath the International Bridge was a canal, and it literally shows you right here, guys. This thing is butting up next to a canal. Massive geoengineering and terraforming was certainly possible, 100%. And what we see as mud flood evidence could just be terraforming in and around these old churches and everything. And it might look like it was sinking. Okay? Yeah. Oh, we're going the other way here. Look at that. A lot of different facets in this one. Someone put these in little off kilter. Yeah, I just love getting up on these buildings and taking pictures of these for you. I hope you enjoy it. That was kind of a flying off the handle one. I was in the area and I seen this building and I got out and did it, and I knew that it was around this area. And then when I came back to look at this, and I'm like, it's near the power gen, or cataract power conduct, and I'm like, that's probably this building. And then I come back and make a video of a bushwhacking Tartaria for you. I'll round this one out, and next one will be the Halloween version at the Psych Center, and maybe I'll give you a little treat of that. All right, now, oh, there you go. Okay, that was it. That'll be the next one for you. Okay, this one was bushwhacking Tartaria, laying down evidence that canals were made into highways and maybe they were also, although railways were all once canals. And I can get you a lot more of this in this type of showing you maps and getting there on scene. So I will report back for another one. Hope you enjoyed it. Please thumbs up. Please like and share and subscribe. Take care. Be safe.